I, 32F, tested positive for trich. Husband, 37 meters, says he didn't cheat. Based on my understanding of trichomoniasis, it's usually contracted via sexual contact. I know there was a study done somewhere where a group of girls got it from shared bath water. But that isn't the most common form of transmission by far. So unless my husband has been sharing bath water or wet towels with someone who has it, I really can't think of how I would have caught it without him cheating on me. Does anyone have any possible explanation for how this could have happened? Or is he just full of shit and hoping I'll believe him? I think the nurse at my doctor's office just didn't want to get in trouble somehow if she gave me a definitive answer about trich and cheating. She paused a lot and put me on hold a couple times so she could look stuff up, and told me, it's not always from cheating. Face with rolling eyes. Edit. For anyone who has been so sweet and taken the time to write kind things in regard to posts I made a few years ago, just so everyone knows, they were in reference to my ex-husband. My now husband and I have been together for 3 years. So, while it seems likely that he has been stepping out on me, he's not the same man who was abusing me from prior posts. I appreciate everyone's kindness and input. How did he react when presented with information about your diagnosis? Was he defensive and angry, or was he truly baffled? For clarification, I've had tests for trich in the recent past because I was pregnant last year and a couple of years ago. Those tests were negative. He did not get it from me rather than the other way around. I would be looking at your insurance to find a claim the last few months for any urgent care, RX, swabs he may have had done before I accused cheating. I would also be checking at the pharmacy to see if he had any scripts filled in the last 6 months that were antibiotic courses. You can ask the pharmacist for a print of all your meds. For tax purposes, people do it all the time. Credit card, bank statements for any hotel or suspicious charges. If all that is clear, then this might be some kind of misunderstanding. As a former OB nurse though, this is likely a case of infidelity. I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. It's an STI. You get it by having sex. He had sex with someone else and then had sex with you. Simple as that. I'm sorry. Doctor's office person just didn't want to give their professional opinion that your husband cheated. He did though. That is definitely an STD. And males cannot contract it from sharing bath water. Lol, I just read your previous post. He's sketchy and also his baby mama. He probably cheated with her. All signs point to my F27 husband, M27, having cheated on me. Friends agree. He says he didn't. My husband and I have been together for 6 years. We've been married for 3, almost 4. He will often take my phone to use the camera or Google something if his isn't nearby. He doesn't ask first, which I didn't mind because at the beginning of our relationship, we both said we were okay with the other borrowing our phones. When I try to do the same, he's always taken his phone away before I could use it. I always made excuses until last night. Last night, I asked him a question. He told me to give him a minute because he was busy doing something. While I waited, I saw one of our cats was being cued, so I reached to take his phone for a picture since I left mine in a different room. He practically ran over to take his phone away from me and I asked why. He said he was going to buy me a surprise present and didn't want me to see. When I didn't believe him, he instead said he wasn't comfortable with me looking at his phone. I was clearly hurt and asked if I could check his phone to reassure myself since he reacted so strange. He said no. I walked away to get some space. He didn't try to follow. Hours later, my friend suggested he and I go through his phone together, which he agreed to. Keep in mind this was hours, so he could have potentially had time to delete any evidence there may have been. We were going through his phone and it was a little strange. He's the type of person to never close out of apps fully. He also has dozens of tabs in Google all the time. There were no open apps and no Google tabs at all. In our years of relationship, this has never happened. He always has apps, tabs until last night. Other than that, all seemed well until I saw he had a Snapchat conversation with a female friend of his that I voiced worry about before. The first, and only, time I met her, we were in a small group. She walked right up to him and started a conversation. She ignored me, even though I was right next to him. He didn't introduce me to her, either. One of our friends jokingly called out their behavior by saying, "Aren't you going to introduce your wife?" He laughed it off and introduced me after a few seconds of hesitation. He didn't call me his wife, just said, "This is name," and nothing else. He was really quiet the entire night while she was trying to non-stop talk to him, even though she invited her own boyfriend as well. That night was 6 months ago. When we got home, I asked if they ever had a romantic or sexual thing together. He said no. Last night, he revealed they did. He said it was before our relationship and he never said anything because he was ashamed. His reasons for being ashamed. They hooked up during a low point in his life and this friend is his brother's ex-GF. He says there was no overlap between them and our relationship. In scrolling through the Snapchat conversation, There were things that she had saved in chat. I immediately saw not safe for work memes he sent her. Things like, "This could be us," with a picture of a guy resting his head on a girl's butt. I asked why he sent that and he said he just thought it was funny. I asked how and he just said, "Funny," again, this time with hesitation. Scrolling more revealed she sent him nudes a little over 2 months ago. She was the one to save them in chat. He didn't, but again, he could have tried to remove as much evidence as possible. Everything in this chat was saved by her and not him. He said he had no idea what the nudes were or how they got there. He also said he never noticed them. I asked how he possibly couldn't have noticed them. He then said he did notice, but ignored them because he knows she sent them on accident when drunk. I asked if he knew they were accidental or if he assumed. He said he knew, so I asked how he responded to the photos. He apparently told her to not send any in the future. She apparently never replied to that directly. He said they just continued their conversation like she never sent anything. I said, "So you didn't know if they were an accident?" It sounds like she didn't confirm. And he said no, he didn't know for sure, he just assumed they were accidentally sent to him instead of her BF. Notice that the drunken accident theory was changed. Scrolling back more shows that when my husband and I first started dating, her ex-boyfriend was jealous of her friendship with my husband. Her ex said my now husband and she would flirt with each other. Another message from her confirms that he sent her a not safe for work video of himself while him and I were dating. So 2 pieces of evidence that confirm an overlap, even though he said there wasn't one. He says he just didn't remember, which I could believe since it was years ago. Not too long after we got married, he also had a mysterious bruise that looked like a hickey. This was on his chest right under his collarbone. I was suspicious based on the placement. He swore it was a bruise and said he couldn't remember how he got it, but I feel like with a spot like that, you'd notice being hitting something hard enough to bruise? Like your face would probably be hit too, or at least close to being hit. Around the time I met the potential affair partner, he had another mysterious bruise. This one was above his collarbone near his neck. I know that he likes getting hickeys there. He had the same story, a bruise he had no idea how he got. I believe that's all my evidence. He swears he didn't cheat. In my eyes, the flirty memes are already a form of emotional cheating. He apologized for hurting me and says he'll do anything to regain my trust. So my question is, am I justified for thinking he cheated, even if he says he didn't? I suggested marriage counseling and he said he'd be okay with going. For those who have done marriage counseling after a potential cheating incident, did it help? Also sorry if this is all over the place. I tried to give dates, rough timeframes as best as I could. I also tried to make it organized, but I'm a mess right now. Edit. This got way more attention than I could have ever expected. I do plan to reply to comments when I'm not so overwhelmed. I did want to quickly add that I'm autistic. This tends to make me a lot more trusting than others. I also want to thank everyone who has commented and thanks in advance to those who will. Even if some are hard to read, any advice, not judgment, is appreciated. I genuinely didn't even think that he could have been cheating our entire relationship until it was mentioned in comments. I will also be posting an update in the future since I see a lot of people are interested in that. He has cheated on you. Point blank. He knows it and you know it. And he had obviously no intention of ever stopping his affair with his brother's ex-girlfriend. So you know where you stand. From my point of view, there's no saving this. He's still lying and brushing you off. Should you be interested in saving your marriage, he has to block her everywhere and you should tell her boyfriend. But since you can't be sure he's following through with it and he's not remorseful, there's really no point. I stopped reading when you communicated that you believed him when he said he was sent nudes but doesn't remember looking at them. Jesus. I was born in the morning, but it wasn't this morning. How about you? Girl, he's clearly cheating. Nudes aren't sent by accident. It's no coincidence that all the apps and tabs are closed, stories keep changing, and not safe for work memes aren't funny in situations like this. They're just lustful. He's a cheater. Obviously. Update me. I feel like I just read a whole lot of excuses for why you should believe that your husband is not a cheat when everything he's doing points to cheating. Other people are even saying that they think he's cheating. Sounds like he's been cheating your whole relationship. What is the outcome you're looking for with posting here? Lol girl, he did all that and you still want to stay with him? Is she blocked? Do you have access to his phone? Also just an FYI, if you stay and he makes you miserable your friends will hate him. My girlfriend F22 with male friend that has admitted he wants to F. I am M24. So my girlfriend was out last night having a few drinks with some friends and a guy who I know she has had previous flings with. 2 years before our relationship had started, was there. She calls him a friend. Obviously I am not happy about this, so when she's back home, I ask her to message this guy asking him if he's down to F. She agrees and lo and behold, he wants to and then lists out the dates that he can see her. This is then met with her defending him saying he's just a friend etc etc. How there is a problem with it because he'd never throw himself at me. I know this is just crazy. Myself am 24 and her haven't been together long at all, but this just won't work if things like this go on and it's just a disaster waiting to happen. I am yet to talk to her about this while she's sober as she was drunk last night. Agreed on this? So, a guy that used to fuck her still wants to fuck her? Well, color me shocked. He's not a friend, he's an option. And if she's out getting drunk with him around, that's just a recipe for a total fuck up. Sorry, bro, but the way she's defending him would be a deal breaker for me. Why would you ask her to do that and why would she agree to it? You two need to talk instead of trying to prove things with little stunts. Play with fire and get burned. It's always the friend they tell you to not worry about that you should worry about. In general, friendships with past flings don't go well once someone enters a relationship. That being said, baiting him doesn't prove anything and was a stupid idea. If she asks if he's DTF, then of course he's going to say yes. He thinks she opened the door for it. Maybe he would have never crossed that boundary if she hadn't asked. By her sending the text, she gave him the green light. It proves nothing. If you've got a problem with it, and it's a deal breaker, break up with her. Problem solved. Yeah, I'd be out. Not nearly worth the headache on multiple levels. My 28M wife 28F asked for a temporary separation after 12 years. I 28M and my wife 28F have been together for 12 years. We have 4-year-old twins on the spectrum, and ever since having kids our marriage has been on the back burner. I am mostly a stay-at-home dad and she has a decent job that mostly supports us. She has suffered from depression since having kids, and has often struggled with finding happiness since. She told me she had been having an online affair that lasted 4-ish months that she ended and asked for a divorce. After many talks we agreed to try and reconcile and focus on our marriage. It's been 1 month since then and I thought things had been going pretty well. But now she told me she thinks she needs to temporarily separate while she focuses on herself. She wants to start getting therapy, and trying to find out who she is as a person, because she has never had any independence as a person. She also hates that she ever became a person who would cheat, and hurt me like that, and she said she would not cheat during the separation, and that it is just while she figures herself out. I agreed therapy is a good idea, but this just feels like a way out to see if she is happy without me. Honestly, I'm struggling in so many ways, between the cheating, the separation, and trying to make our family work. It feels like once she walks out the door that they won't come back. Affording couples therapy would be incredibly difficult, and her family offered to pay for her individual therapy as we already live pretty month to month. Has anyone else gone through a similar experience? Do you think separation has any chance at helping things, or is this just the beginning of the end for our relationship? Any good sad songs to listen to while I wallow are also appreciated. And I don't really have friends, so if anyone wants to chat about TV, anime, movies, books, then hit me up. Let me know what you all think I should do. You're 28 and have been together for 12 years? You went from 16-year-olds living at home to being married together with twins on the spectrum. Of course she has no idea who she is as a person. That's a lot for anyone to take on. Your wife absolutely needs therapy and medication. Depression is a disease, why wouldn't you want medication for a disease? Maybe it is over, maybe she will find it back to you. Maybe the stress of being the breadwinner, having twins, then being on the spectrum and having been together since high school is too much for her. This is a gentle letdown. If you don't read the room now, it will not be a gentle letdown next time you find out. See a lawyer ASAP to know what you need to do to protect yourself when divorce happens. See a therapist to process everything and help you figure out what you need to move on. Protect yourself mental health as this can eat you up. Good luck, and this reflects her, not you. You are still an awesome person, she's a cheater and will always be. This happens so often when people settle down too young. I'm sorry, this is going to be tough. Reach out to family and friends. No such thing as a temporary separation, distance creates distance. You want a relationship to work, you need to overcome issues together. She cheated, likely lost all respect for you. On top of that, the only thing you can know for sure is that cheaters lie. I wouldn't trust the no fucking other people claim. Lawyer, find out what you can do to protect yourself and kids. And focus there. In my country, being a stay-at-home parent means nothing. The judge will just tell you to get a job. There's a good Reddit r/as1 after infidelity. I would repost this, you will get much better advice. You're in a tough spot. And got together so young. The main thing will be for you to start focusing on yourself too. You will need someone of your own to talk to. Even a social worker might be like $40, $60 per meeting. Do you have insurance that covers anything? You will want to start working to feel complete in case she bolts, and thinking about your own goals and your own life. With or without her. Good luck.